Well, hey there, beautiful, and welcome to Dr. Sarah's Cafe. This is your weekly refill where we take the time to savor the flavor of the week, which is a unique specialty blend of astrology, tarot, intuition, creativity, some poetry, and a little nod to some pastries as well. In terms of the flavor of the week for this week, we have a homonym, slight homonym. I'm not sure if it's a full-on homonym, and it is disillusion and dissolution. Disillusion and dissolution. So disillusion is when our illusion cracks, when the illusion, the lie, the falseness, the fantasy sort of crumbles, it burns to a crisp, and we're left with nothing but the cold, hard truth. So when someone says they're feeling disillusioned, it means that they oftentimes have lost hope, or they are less optimistic, maybe leaning towards pessimism. Now, dissolution sounds really similar, but it is like things dissolving. So if you think about things dissolving and a solution, things coming undone, things coming apart, things being unbraided, ripped apart at the seams, right? So taking things apart. And in this moment, I'm realizing how similar those words actually are, right? If we think about the illusion being dissolved, the dissolution of the illusion is disillusion. And let me know in the comments if you got that. Now let's look at the astrology ingredients. There are 3 dates that are significant. The first is the 18th. We have the sun in Sagittarius squaring Neptune in Pisces. And as you can see from the image here on the screen, this feels like a burst bubble, like something, someone, some news bursts your bubble. It's like you have been in this Neptune Pisces fantasy, illusion, and then it squares the sun, that harsh light of reality and truth, and just shining a light on the situation, shining a light through the fog. And it feels like, oh, now I can see things clearly. I can see clearly now that the fog has gone. I know that's not the real lyrics of that song, but stick with me here. So the sun in Sagittarius is also, because Sagittarius is such a wise sign, it is the sign of wisdom and truth and sage and mentorships and higher learning. It's not, I don't think it's a petty disillusionment. I think it really wants us to see the whole truth so that we can be empowered with it. So it's not like playing devil's advocate. It's not like playing a game of gotcha or one-upmanship. This is like the wise sage mentor, the authority figure, the professor who genuinely sees an error in your work or an error in your equation or something that you're missing, right? Or like the wise auntie who's like, this person has some red flags. Are we sure? We don't want to take a second look, before you go out on another date with them. So it feels harsh. It feels like the harsh truth, but it also feels like it's coming from a very wise and loving place, hopefully. And whether or not it feels like that in the moment, that's the ultimate underlying energy that I get with this, is that it's not just trying to burst your bubble to be mean or to be petty. It's really just wanting you to face some facts so that you are safer, so that you are more empowered to thrive going forward, so that you're in a better position to reach your goals, your aspirations, etc. Okay. Now, the next day on the 19th, we have the lovely planet of Venus in the futuristic sign of Aquarius, trining, making a very positive aspect to Jupiter and Gemini. This energy, on a basic level, to me feels like good conversation, like being really drawn to intelligence, being really drawn to people who know things, people who can keep up a good conversation, people who can teach you something, people who are also unique and quirky, and people who are of the mind in some way. So air signs are very much of the mind. So Venus being, somewhat air, because one of the zodiac signs it rules is Libra. It also rules Taurus, which is Earth. But all this, lovely air sign energy being infused with the vibration of Venus is really, really nice for even using your mind to create a piece of art or to create poetry or to teach something or to design something, right? So even if you're not communicating like in real time, like an actual conversation, it might be a really interesting social media post that you find that takes you on a rabbit hole of like fascination and curiosity, and yeah, just really indulging in the intellectual pursuits and the things that delight you on an intellectual level. This is also being appreciative of and attracted to, again, as I mentioned, people who have some level of intelligence or who just are good at witty banter. And this is almost like sexual energy, where the more you know about someone's mind, the more attractive they become, right? One of my favorite compliments anyone has ever given me is, I like the way you think. And that's very much to me Venus and Aquarius trining Jupiter and Gemini. So that should be a pretty good day. All things aside, I don't know what's in your birth chart, so that could be impacting your day as well. But just collectively speaking, that's going to lend some sweetness to the day. Now, on the 21st, we have a change in seasons, a change in zodiacal seasons, the zodiac, but also a change in the weather seasons, right? So just like Libra brought in fall, and which one is it? Aries brings in summer, Capricorn brings in winter. So the sun is going to move into the sign of Capricorn, and that's the same day as the winter solstice. So the start of Capricorn season marks the start of winter season. And this also to me feels like that disillusion and dissolution energy, because it's like it goes from this fiery sign of Sagittarius into the cold darkness of Capricorn. So it's like, again, the cold, hard truth. That's Capricorn energy, if I have to say so myself, right? I think that's a very much an alignment with how Capricorn energy can sometimes feel, cold, hard truth. And even that, though uncomfortable, though you might not say, I want to, sleep in a cold, dark cave, or, trek through the mountains in the middle of January or middle of winter, there's still sort of a sober-mindedness. There's like a sobering up this week, a sobering up, coming to the realization. And maybe for some of us, because we're at the end of the year, this could be sober realizations as we're doing those year-end reflections, those end of the year reviews, or year in reviews, where we put the pieces together in a new way that just sobers us up in some way and says, oh, where have I been kind of quote unquote playing around in my life and not really taking this part of my life as seriously as it deserves? Because I think the winter solstice and sun in Capricorn is going to ask us to take something more seriously. Okay. Now, the tarot ingredients, we have the Tower. Dun, dun, dun. If you read tarot, you know why I'm saying this. But this is a lot to do with why I mentioned the disillusion in the dissolution energy. And I actually want to read directly from the book for this. I didn't read ahead of time, so I'm not sure if it's actually going to fit with what I'm thinking. But the Tower energy is just like it looks. It's the destruction of the Tower. These people are falling out, or these cats in this deck. This is the black cat, golden black cat tarot deck. They're falling out of the Tower because lightning has struck it. Lightning has struck the Tower. The crown falls off the Tower. That's the illusion, right? The mindset. The people are falling through the windows. The Tower is cracked. That's the illusion being broken open by the lightning bolt of truth, the lightning bolt of reality, that harsh reality check. So the Tower moment often feels like a surprise, a shock, learning something you did not know before. But even more than that, it's realizing that you have been operating under false assumptions, realizing that you had been moving through a situation, moving through life under false pretenses, under false premises. Okay, it's like you had been in the Truman Show, right? The Truman Show, when he starts to realize that something's off here, and then he sees like, oh, I've been on a TV show this entire time. Like, that's a significant example of the Tower moment. We can have smaller Tower moments, like when you realize you had been seeing the lyrics to a song the wrong way your entire life, and you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I was saying the wrong word for 3 decades. So basically, you have been under the assumption, under the illusion that you had the truth. And the tower shows you, oftentimes very starkly, very harshly, very suddenly and shockingly, that what you thought was true is not true. It doesn't have to all be scary though, because let's say, for example, you believed a falseness or you believed an illusion that was hurting you. And so to be disabused of that illusion now means you are free to heal, means that you are free to liberate yourself from that situation, that you are free to seek help or to grow and take the lesson and better yourself, right? If you're under the false illusion, for example, that everything in your life was out of your control, and if these other people don't change, then you can't be anything. You can't do anything for yourself or with your life. And then the tower moment can show you moments where it really was you. It was really you and the choices you made that led to certain outcomes. And again, that could feel harsh in the moment. It could really be uncomfortable and really sting to be faced with that truth. But then from there on, you're empowered with your sense of agency. You're empowered to say, oh, I see now how I very much could make different choices to change my life, to change my situation. So the tower could be so many things. It could be coming out of the closet for people who have a part of their identity that they've been suppressing or hiding. It can be getting fired when you thought you were about to get a raise. It could be getting a raise when you thought you were about to get fired. See what I did there? Okay. So this card coming out with the next card, there definitely could be some information, some messages, some communication specifically. Remember, Jupiter's in Gemini, Venus is in Aquarius. Because it's Venus, it might be a pleasant surprise. It might be a shocking message that we don't expect. That, another example that people often romanticize is like, oh, I didn't know my best friend had romantic feelings for me this entire time, right? So that could be a tower moment where you thought you were just friends, or you thought they didn't like you at all. And it turns out like they've harbored romantic feelings for you for years, right? So that could be the kind of message that comes through. And this card is the root of air, which is the Page of Swords in other tarot decks. And it is explore, the number 33, right? So a master number there. 33 is expansion. It's very Jupiterian in that sense, also very Gemini-like in some ways. But with the root of air, aka the Page of Swords, and the idea of explore, this feels like a directive to be open-minded, to remain open-minded, to not be dismissive of what other people are saying, to not automatically jump on the defense when someone is exposing a truth that we didn't know to begin with, right? Or trying to save face or pretend like, we don't have anything to learn in that moment. I also want to read this one from the guidebook. I didn't actually read. I said I was going to read from, and I didn't do that. So let me see how this author describes the tower. I'll go back to it. Okay. So this author, Helena de Almeida of the Golden Black Cat Tarot deck, she describes the tower as stubbornness. See? Yeah. So be open-minded. That's what I was saying. Opportunities, liberation from something in your life that hurts you. Yeah. Weaknesses. You put yourself in the position of victim and refuse to see the truth. So it's interesting I use that example of thinking, you assuming that everything in your life is the fault of other people and you always blame everyone else, and failing to see your complicity and your role in those dynamics and in your responsibility to make new choices if you want to change. Threats, stagnation, inability to leave the comfort zone. This is where the explore energy is going to come from, or tie into rather. What can lead to failure in all areas of life? And the message is the chaos that exists in your life was created by you. Only you will have the power to free yourself. Be careful with the comfort zone, because to improve the situation, it is necessary to change. So going forward to this energy of explore, this is that not being, what did she say? I just read it and I forgot it already. Not being closed-minded. Oh, leaving your comfort zone. Yeah, leaving your comfort zone. And that includes the comfort zone of your thoughts and your beliefs, right? So it's really comfortable to believe this. It's really comfortable to think this way. It's really comfortable to operate under these assumptions and premises. Even if people have shown me new information, our new data, our new intel that would disprove those things, it's just not comfortable. Okay. Now, on the other side of that, this could be exploration in terms of like interviewing people or seeking out alternative perspectives. So if there, you can actually look at where Capricorn, Sagittarius, not Sagittarius. Yeah, Sagittarius, because that's where the sun is going to be in Pisces. Sagittarius and Pisces is that square to Neptune, sun squaring Neptune. So where Sagittarius and Pisces is in your chart might be an area where you can seek alternative opinions, seek alternative perspectives, and see what other people's experiences and perceptions are of a situation. And also Gemini and Aquarius, where those are in your chart as well. So the root of air, I'm going to read this now. The Page of Swords, because it corresponds to that in tarot, it often deals with messages, communication. Okay, so it's an air energy and often reflects some sort of verbal communication specifically. Root of air, explore. You are feeling ready for adventure. Where will your curiosity lead you? See, so there's a difference between being stubborn and closed-minded versus having an open, curious mind. So if you have an open, curious mind, the tower is less painful. If you're trying to be stubborn and closed-minded, the tower will feel way more painful than it has to. This ancestor reflects the part of you that is hungry for knowledge and truth. If she is a reflection of you, you are driven, relentless, and on the move with a notebook full of crazy schemes and plans. You need people around you who believe in you and who will ground you. Right now, you are the center of attention. Traditionally, this has been a somewhat scary place to be. You may even be having the stirrings of a new sexual awakening. So that sapiosexual energy might be at play as well. Ancestral memory. Yes, you are curious, but are you asking the right questions? Them old people, as we say in Guyana, used to say that some folks are too smart for their own good. This means that they could have all the book smarts in the world and still lack the wisdom or street smarts required for the tasks at hand. Don't let this be you. Ancestral medicine. The root of air is the plant spirit of the vegetable okra. See the okra up there and at the top of the card. Also known as okro from the Akan of Ghana. Okra is an Abasam deity aligned with the soul. Kra means soul. The energy of the okra plant spirit is slippery. This makes it a yummy dish and perfect for spiritual cleansing and slipping away from undesirable situations. But the slipperiness is still not a desired trait for humans. Shadow aspect. Your energy is unfocused and disorganized. You are all talk, but not really moving forward with anything. Tarot correspondence, Page of Swords, declaration. I am willing and open to learn and grow. Lord of mercy. That declaration, I could have skipped all that other stuff and got right to the declaration. I am willing to learn and grow. If that's not a tower, I don't know what is. I am willing and open to learn and grow. The tower energy will make you learn. You gonna learn today is what the tower says in our lives. You gonna learn today. You might think you don't know. You might act like you don't know, but you gonna learn today. And the root of air is telling us to embrace that. Again, it will be less harsh, less painful, less shocking. It'll feel less like the cold hard truth if we are actively seeking that truth, if we are open to asking the tough questions of ourselves as well as people that we are in relationship with. Okay. And I'm also feeling called too to speak the truth. So this whole time I've been kind of coming at it from the perspective of you receiving a message that shocks you or opens your mind. But you too have to be willing to stand in the truth and speak the truth, even if you know it might burst someone's bubble. But again, it has to come from a place of wisdom, love, grace, compassion. So not doing it just to be mean or to shame them or embarrass them or to prove a point or to win an argument. If you genuinely care about someone and you know something, you have knowledge, you have wisdom, you have information that is important and relevant, then it might be your responsibility this week to be the person to share that. Okay, so you could be sending the message, sharing the information that creates a tower moment or a disillusion or dissolution for someone else. And one of my tarot teachers, one of my favorite readers here on YouTube, Radiant Reality, says that anything that remains after a tower can be trusted. Okay, so if this shocking revelation comes out, if this turmoil, this chaos, this storm comes about, if this new information presents itself and people fall away, the relationship ends, the job disintegrates, then it wasn't built on solid foundations anyway. The tower only destroys what was not built on a solid, firm foundation of truth, love, and integrity. Okay, and I got that one from Watch Natalie. So, our pastry and poetry comes from the iconic, and I have to do my little James Baldwin pose. James Baldwin, born August 2nd, so that makes him a Leo, I believe, 1924. And this poem, it's not officially a poem, but it's like poetry to me. So you see, I bend the rules about what constitutes as quote unquote poetry. It's like poetry as an adjective more so than a noun. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is James Baldwin. A quote, an excerpt from a piece that he had called Just Above My Head. Just Above My Head. And I chose this because it does tie to the theme and the flavor of the week, in my opinion, but let me know if you see connections, what connections you see between this James Baldwin quote and what I've been discussing so far. Also, our pastry is cinnamon scones. Yum. Because we're in December. I mean, cinnamon is always good, but especially fall, winter, holiday season. So, James Baldwin, Just Above My Head. Sometimes you hear a person speak the truth, and you know that they are speaking the truth. But you also know that they have not heard themselves, do not know what they have said, do not know that they have revealed much more than they have said. This may be why the truth remains, on the whole, so rare. I mean, it's James Baldwin, it's Jimmy B. I don't know if that's disrespectful to give him a nickname, but James Baldwin, aka Jimmy B, JB, J Baldwin, James B. I mean, that's deep. This is a deep one. Sometimes you hear a person speak the truth and you know that they are speaking the truth, right? Just that first sentence. Like, yeah, I think we've all been there. We've all been there like, yeah, that's the truth. However, the second sentence is where it really turns deep for me. But you also know that they have not heard themselves, do not know what they have said. If that's ever me, please let me know in the comments. Do not know that they have revealed much more than they have said. This quote, and pairing it with all the things I've shared so far, makes me wonder if for some of this tower moment will be internal. If someone will just be having a casual conversation, not intending to speak the truth, but you hear the truth in what they say. Oof, got goosebumps. Oof, I'm getting chills. There's a difference between people who knowingly say, hey, this is the truth. This is important detail. These are important facts. Versus people who are just having a casual conversation about what they ate for breakfast. People just posting away on threads, myself included, running off at the mouth, saying whatever, whenever, casually, not really, being intentional or purposeful with their words or their communication. And you hear the truth in what they say. And you also recognize that they missed it themselves. That they don't have the awareness of what truth they're actually saying, and they don't have conscious awareness of what they're really revealing. For some of you, in this moment, I feel called to give the example of being in a romantic partnership with someone, or being in a friendship, a platonic friendship with someone, and they say something like, "Oh my gosh, you look so great in your wedding dress. I'm so jealous." Or you have a partner who says, if you see someone get hurt or injured, they say, "Well, I don't know that person. Why would I care?" And to those people, they're just making small talk, making casual conversation. But in that moment, they don't know what they revealed. They don't know that you now see a truth about them that they maybe didn't intend to reveal, but you see it anyway, and you can never unsee it. With this tower energy, you can't ever unsee it. You can't ever unsee the red flags once you've seen them. So for some of you, that's the tower moment. It's not that someone is trying to be honest, or trying to be truthful, or trying to help you see the truth. For us, a portion of us, it might be people who are even who think they're hiding the truth. It might be, let me talk to y'all. It might be people who think they are hiding the truth from you. And they're just going on and on and on with their story, talking about their ex or their friend or their parents or their job. And everything they're saying, you're listening, and you're like, they don't even realize what they're actually revealing about the situation, what they're actually revealing about life, about themselves, about what they think of me, or what they think of the person they're talking about. And again, once you see that, once you are aware of that mentality, of that energy from them, of that vibe, of that whiff of jealousy, that whiff of competitiveness, that whiff of lack of integrity. I don't even know okay, we got something else to share. The takeaway. I think y'all get where I'm coming from. Do I want to know the truth? Okay, I got to talk to y'all. Do I want to know the truth? So sometimes people are giving away the truth about who they are, but we don't want to see it. They have flashing lights and neon signs and caution tape all over them, but we want to see what we want to see. We don't want to see the truth because it might mean, oh, well, I have to break up with them and that means I'll be single again, and I don't want that. So she's going to make me feel bad if I'm not her friend anymore, and I can't not be her friend because we have a lot of mutual friends, and she's going to make me look like the bad person who dissed her as my friend. Or I see the truth, but they hold all the money in the situation, so I'm just going to keep silent. So many things make us not want to see the truth. And this includes the truth about ourselves. It's not just other people, it's the truth about ourselves too. And, this far in the video, I'm like, how much have I revealed? What am I revealing that I am unaware of, right? So, do I want to know the truth? Be honest. Also, when truth is presented to me, do I allow it to change me? When truth is presented to me, do I allow myself to change my position if required, if necessary? If that's what the new truth, the new information, the new insight, the new intel, the new data is suggesting? Do I allow myself to make different choices in light of this new information? And how will this new truth liberate me? And then I'll add, now, am I also willing to speak the truth? A lot came through in me going over these slides that I didn't expect or anticipate when I was making them, I pick up on a lot in the moment. Okay, my dears, I hope that this has in some way helped you to refill your spiritual cup. Okay, remember, we will all make it through this week if we have open minds, open hearts, curious minds, if we are willing to know the truth and speak the truth, okay, from a place of love and compassion, and allow that truth to change us. Not saying that it's going to be comfortable, even with an open, curious mind and heart, but it definitely is going to be less painful than it would if we're trying to be stubborn, if we're trying to be hard-headed. You know what the old folks used to say, a hard head makes a soft bottom. That's kind of what the universe says to us sometimes too. It's like, okay, we're trying to show you, we're trying to help you come to this truth. We're trying to help you understand and learn and grow in this area. And the more you resist, the more you ignore, the more you deny, the more you shut down, the harder it's going to be for you, right? The more severe the lesson has to be in order to create balance and alignment, cosmically speaking. So with all the love in the world, be sure to watch the tarot reading that's coming out on Tuesday, where I unpack this energy even further. And I hope to see you in another video. Have a great week, dears.